Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Clarissa. I put out new pick a card readings or tarot collective readings once a week. So this week, as you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be looking at who you will be marrying. Now, I really just kind of want to look at them personality wise. I'm not saying that things may not come up that describe their physical features, but I'm really trying to do my best to leave this as ambiguous as possible, if that makes sense, in terms of their gender, not in terms of who they are, but in terms of their gender, because obviously you may marry a man or a woman, or somebody that I don't know why I cannot think of the word today, but somebody that identifies as neither, and that's okay. So I just want to make sure that I try to leave it as ambiguous as possible when it comes to gender, and I don't want to get too heavily descriptive into what they'll look like. Today I really just want to focus on who they are and what kind of relationship I feel you would have with them based off of who they are. Yeah, so anyway, that is what this reading will be about this week. We have 3 different groups for you guys to choose from. This will be group number 1, 2, and 3. For my pile 1s, I have this opalite heart as your signifier for your pile. There we go, perfect. So that is for your pile. It always wants to focus on the damn flame for some reason. Let me just move this out of the way then, real quick. There we go, so much better. Okay. And then for my group number 2s, I have this onyx heart. And this will be your guys' signifier for group number 2. Hello. Hello. Oh my god. This gets ridiculous sometimes. I literally don't know what else to do for you here. Okay. Hope you can see that okay. It's just a pure black onyx heart. And then for my group number 3s, I have the sodalite heart for you guys as your signifier. There we go. So I just have to hold it right up to the lens. But that is for you guys for group number 3. So if you need to, please take a moment, pause the video to figure out which pile or group you are the most drawn to. I don't think it would be, I don't know, the worst thing for you to choose more than one group, but since we are going to be getting very specific and detailed about who this person is that you'll be marrying, unless you plan to be married multiple times, then it'll probably be best to just try and stick to one pile of whatever you're the most drawn to for this week. I just think that it'll probably work out a little bit better that way. But anyway, like I said, if you need to, take a moment, pause the video, decide which pile you're the most drawn to, and then once you've done that, there will be a timestamp link in the description box down below that you can click on to go to your reading for this week. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this one will be fun. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and I will see you shortly in your reading. Hi there, my group number 1s. As a reminder, if you chose the opalite heart, then this is your reading this week in regard to who you will marry. So let's go ahead and get into it. These were the 2 cards that you may recognize from your pile selection. They were also shown in the introduction of the video, just turned over with the opalite heart. And then I went ahead and laid out your tarot cards as well that we'll get into. Excuse me. And then I have 2 additional oracle decks that we will shuffle through as well for this week's reading. So we have the 5 of Swords for you, the Knight of Swords, the 7 of Cups, the 2 of Swords, and the Moon. So a lot of air energy here, which isn't surprising with us having Libra here. So when I was shuffling for this, with this deck, I was wanting to see if we could get a little bit more of an astrological understanding of who you will marry. And so they don't necessarily have to have a Libra. They could have other Libra like placements. They could have a Libra stellium. They could have a lot of planets in the 7th house. So there's a lot of different like things that could be the reason why this Libra card came up. They could be a Libra sun. And then we also have the womb here as well. And so it really, like, it's funny that both of these cards came up, because really, like, from what I'm seeing, I do see like a split between the mental and like emotional energy within this person, especially with all of the swords cards that we have that are coming up. And then the moon is traditionally like representative of Pisces in the tarot, as well as the 7 of Cups here being representing water signs. I'm sorry, I'm like struggling for words today. But anyway, with the womb coming up here, I really feel like this person that you're going to marry is very like caring and nurturing and giving. Like, it's very much so giving Cancer energy to me, because Cancer is seen as like the mother of the zodiac. And so I see this individual as being somebody that is very nurturing, very kind, very giving, and just like very, very loving. They may be even somebody that's really good at like cultivating a warm space. Like, to me, when I'm seeing this card, it really feels like a warm embrace, right? Like when you're seeing somebody that you haven't for a long time and you hug them and it just feels amazing. But yeah, like a really nice hug or like a warm embrace, like to me it feels like, you know, fall or winter inside, where it's nice and toasty, putting your little toes up against the fireplace. Like, that's the kind of vibe that this person is giving to me. I do feel like they're very, very warm. And the thing is that I feel like they're like this once they are comfortable with you and get to know you. Like, this is that softer side that they show to those that they really love and care for, because with the 5 of Swords and the Knight of Swords coming up here, I feel like other people may view this individual to be like rude or vindictive, or not necessarily with like the Knight of Swords, but with the 5 of Swords. Like, other people may view this person as the type of person that does whatever is necessary to like get ahead, or like they may view them as somebody that like steps on people to get to where they want to be. And I don't think that's the case. I feel like what I'm really feeling with this individual is that they're somebody that when they've made a decision, when they've weighed their options, when they've thought things through, they're going to go after what they want and pursue the things they want. I don't think that they're somebody that is malicious, like with their intent. It just may appear that way to other people, because I do feel like with the 7 of Cups coming out here, as well as the moon, they're somebody that, and even the 2 of Swords, they're somebody that thinks a lot. Like, they sit in their mental space thinking things through and thinking the options through for a while. So I don't think they're somebody that like acts recklessly by any means, but when they're ready to act, they're ready to act. Like, once they've made their decision, and they've come to terms with like what the potential outcomes could be, they're going to move forward with that decision. Again, I don't think that they make these decisions lightly, and I don't think that they do things maliciously. I think that, you know, they sit there and they weigh their options. That's what Libra does. And I think that that is something that a lot of people can't stand about Libra, is that Libra really likes to ruminate and think about all of the possibilities. And so I think that this person that you're going to end up with, you're going to marry, is very like thoughtful and considerate, and they really do try to put themselves in other people's shoes. Like, they do have a good amount of compassion and empathy. Like, they may be somebody that even has like a very air water dominant chart, excuse me, especially with like the cards that we have coming up here, because again, I really do feel like there's this balance between emotion and logic. And again, I don't think that they set out to hurt other people, but at the end of the day, they know that sometimes decisions need to be made, and not everyone can be spared always when we make certain decisions, because I mean, I really do believe that the decisions that we make have an impact on other people sometimes, not always. And so sometimes when we are making decisions, we can't spare everybody. We can't make sure that everybody ends up unscathed. It just doesn't always work out that way. You know, life isn't that picture perfect and cookie cutter, right? And I think that this person that you're going to marry really does understand that. And they know that sometimes we just have to make a decision irregardless. But like I said, I feel like, and it's so funny too with like the moon coming out here, it makes me feel like maybe they have like a moon sign, or a water sign in their moon. So like Scorpio moon, Pisces moon, Cancer moon, because I do feel like they are very in touch with their emotional side. And again, like I feel like they take emotion into account when they're making decisions or when they're thinking about certain possibilities. So I do think that that is the case, but especially with it being the moon that comes out here, it's like this isn't who they show themselves to be to everyone. Like when you get that layer of them unveiled, like it's kind of a shock to a lot of people that they're that emotionally deep, because on the surface I feel like people don't necessarily see that from them. And it's so funny too because we have Libra coming out here, and then we have the Two of Swords, which is represented by a Libra moon. And you know, I just think it's interesting that we have that coming out here, because the thing about Libra is Libra always is searching for the intermediary. Libra is always searching for the balance. And it even has to do with like the balance between, again, like our emotions, our logic, our intuition and our logic, and trusting themselves, right? And I think that this person that you're going to marry really does trust themselves, even if it takes them a while to get back to that place when they're making decisions or going about their daily life. But yeah, I really do see them as being somebody that is very emotional, very warm, somebody that, again, like I said, just has a knack for making a space feel really homey. Like it's giving me, I don't know, maybe this is just me and like the side of TikTok that I'm on, but I'm definitely on like the home decor or like home renovation side of TikTok, and it's giving me like you know, somebody that buys like an old busted house that's been on the market for a long time, and maybe this house hasn't like had a lot of updates since, I don't know, 1950, 1970, and they still take like the lovely characteristics of that house from that time period, but they update it and make it slightly more modern, make it still feel very like homey and quirky and unique, and just like a space that you want to be in. And I feel like that's the thing about this person, is that they are somebody that you want to be with once you really get to know them and you see how like deep and complex they really are. Because I think this person kind of has like a mind really like no other, and they use that intellect a lot, and they're not afraid to make a decision though and move forward with it. Unlike some other like Libras who will ruminate forever and ever and ever and ever, and not actually make a decision, your person is not afraid to make a decision. They will make a decision and move forward with that and take action on it, whatever it may be, whether it's in regard to like a home renovation project, work, friendships, family, whatever. If they know they have to make a decision, they'll definitely do it. But, you know, they do understand that sometimes making decisions comes at the cost of relationships with other people or with a connection with somebody else. So for instance, something that's kind of coming to mind is I do think that this person has gotten really good, or maybe they just always were good at setting boundaries with other people. So, you know, what may seem as like malicious or like them attacking somebody from like another perspective is really them just setting boundaries and no longer tolerating someone's bullshit, right? And I really feel like they're the type of person that, because they are sensitive and because they like, I don't know, I feel like they're always kind of protecting their emotions and their heart, because they are that person that is very loving and nurturing and giving to others. they will sometimes get to a point with people where they're like, look, you know, I've given so much to you into this relationship and I can no longer do it and I have to walk away from this because all it's doing is causing me pain and heartache and, you know, issues. And again, to that other person, it may be like, oh my God, they're so mean, they're so inconsiderate, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, they've actually been ruminating on that for a while. They've been thinking about that decision for a while, and they know ultimately that that is the best decision for them so that they can still protect their energy and give the love that they want to the people that actually deserve it and earn it and that like reciprocate that. And I think that that's going to be a beautiful thing about your relationship is that this person is so giving and loving that you're always going to feel like the star of the show, right? They're gonna like literally put you on a pedestal and make you feel like you are the queen of the world, and they literally worship the ground that you walk on. And it's not going to be like in an unhealthy manner, because I think that you're also somebody that is very loving and will appreciate the way that this person shows you love and affection and cares for you. And so you'll give that energy reciprocally, because again, Libra is all about balance. Libra doesn't like it when things are out of whack. So that may be one thing to kind of keep in mind is not to say that they would expect you to reciprocate in every single thing that they do for you, but, you know, making sure that you're like doing your part and you're helping out and you're carrying the load as well, and not just putting like all of the emotional burden onto your partner. So that would be one thing that I would caution towards. But I think that honestly, as long as you are reciprocal with the energy, as long as you show them that they're safe and that you love them as well and that you care for them just as much, like I feel like this could be a very beautifully harmonious relationship, because you have someone here who not only thinks about things intellectually, but cares about the impact that they put onto other people, because they think about that in depth, you know, where there are those people that don't even think twice about their actions. This person does. And I feel like the beautiful thing about a Libra, or somebody that, you know, has Libra placements or has like a lot of 7th house placements, is that they again can see a lot of, not every Libra, I should preface, I guess, but for the most part, a Libra that is like well in balance can understand that there's always other sides to the story. There's always another perspective to the story, and they're not going to just, you know, put all of the blame on you when something goes wrong or when there's an argument. They're going to own up to their piece of it as well, because they'll be able to see, you know, I did this wrong, or things should have gone differently, or I shouldn't have behaved in that manner, and they'll be able to apologize to you, especially with your person here, because again, like I've been saying, I feel like they're so well balanced emotionally and mentally. They have a good balance of both, and they take both into consideration, and they see the importance of both. They don't think that it's just important to be logical. They understand the importance of like feeling our feelings and working through them. So yeah, I really like this for you guys so far. I think that this will be like a very good partner for you to have, like a very good spouse. So let me go ahead. I'm just going to take a drink of water, and then we can get into the other oracle decks that we have here. Okay. This is like one of my bigger oracle decks, so sorry, you gotta like watch me fumble through shuffling here. But let's see if we can get any additional information about who you will marry. And I think one thing to hear that to bring up, especially about somebody that has Libra placements in the 7th house, they want to have relationships that are like equitable and balanced, and that they see the other person as like the weight that's put on the scale that balances them out. Does that make sense? Like they will see you as their equal. They will see you as their partner, and they will not like expect you to take on all of the emotional or physical like burdens that come about with like being married and having a household and potentially having children. I see this person as being somebody that's very involved. If you are planning to have kids, like they will help out with the children. They will make sure that, you know, you're not the one that's getting up every morning by yourself to get the kids ready for school, to make sure that like dinner is prepared every night. They're not going to put all of that on you because they understand that a successful relationship is a partnership, like a 50-50, and you know, it's not always like perfectly 50-50, but like a relatively equal partnership where two people carry their weight and help each other out. And those are the best relationships to be in, where you actually have a partner as opposed to somebody that expects you to take care of everything and do everything that may like traditionally be like a male or female dominated like task in the household, right? So, you know, you wouldn't be the only one cooking dinner, doing dishes, doing laundry, like this person, even like doing yard work if, you know, that is something that like you've traditionally been told that you need to do, like this person would help you. They're not going to just expect you to do those things. And you guys may come to an agreement amongst yourself of like, okay, you know, this week these are my duties, this week these are yours, next week these are mine, next week these are yours, like, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, I see this as somebody that like wants to have a harmonious relationship and wants to make sure that you're just as happy and fulfilled as they are. Okay. Any other information about this person that our group number ones will marry? Spirit, let's see. Okay, we have passion. Ooh, rise, passion, rise up high, inflame my purpose, reach the sky. So I love that this came out for you guys. And I think it's very, very fitting because that's just it, right? I feel like being somebody that's married and understanding like what goes into running a household. I don't even have children, but one thing that I can say is that it's so attractive to have a partner that helps you out, that cares about like what your day was like, that you can talk to and have like very in-depth conversations with. And I really do see that for you guys here as well, because again, we have somebody for you that likes to be mentally and emotionally stimulated. So somebody that will listen to the things that you have to say, will find them important, will care about what you're saying, and will be like just as emotionally and mentally invested in the things going on in your life as they are in their own. But yeah, I mean, I think that passion is so important, but passion is something that it's easier to keep going when you still are like having fun with this person, when you don't feel like you're being overburdened with all of these different things in day-to-day life. You feel like you have a partner that's there, that helps you, that has your back, that takes care of things when they need to be taken care of. That is what keeps the passion going, in my opinion, right? Because we can always still love somebody, but it's really, really nice and like allows you to feel so much more appreciated when you have somebody that even just like buys you flowers because they're thinking about you, or they on their way home from work, like if you had mentioned that you were wanting like chocolate covered strawberries, they go pick those up for you. Like it's the little things, right? Like I literally saw a TikTok the other day where this woman was talking about how her wife like went to the gym. She was texting her wife and was like, oh, you know, I really want these like the lemon flavored or the lime, it's the lime flavored hot Cheetos, and her wife went to like 5 different stores trying to find them for her. It's those like little things that keep the passion, the excitement, the desire alive, and I really do see that for you, group number one. Let's see if we can get one more card from that deck, and then we'll get into the other oracle card deck. Just go ahead and cut this. And we have strength, stability in this hour, endurance, stamina, I am power. Okay, I think this is coming out because you will have a very strong relationship, a strong marriage, and an emotionally and mentally strong partner. And I think that truthfully, like, your guys' ability to talk things out, to share about your emotions, to care about what the other person is going through, and to care about their perspective and their side of things, as well as like that ability to recognize when things need to be done in the household and just take care of them, because that's what a partnership is. That's what a good marriage is. I think that ultimately, like, this is saying that you're going to have a very strong foundation. You're going to have a very strong relationship. And I really see that you guys will have a lot of love and a lot of passion, obviously, for like years and years and years and years and years, probably throughout the entirety of your relationship, because of how this individual is and the way that it will like help you, and the way that you guys will mesh, like the way that you guys will just come together. And it's like, I see it as being like you guys coming together and being each other's better half, like you being able to bring out the best in one another, and care for one another in the ways that you need to be cared for, like really paying attention to each other's love languages and making sure that you're doing things to show each other that you're appreciative and that you love one another and that you're there for one another. And I think that this is going to go a really long way in your guys' relationship. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and shuffle this last deck, maybe get like 2 more cards. Any final information about who group number 1 will marry? Let's see, Gentle Gardener, and we also have Balancing Act. I mean, come on now. So not surprised at all that Balancing Act came about. Like, this is what we've been talking about. And then so funny too, because we have 11-11 here, 11-11 there. So yeah, I think that maybe, you know, ones will be very important for you. Maybe you'll even get married like in November or something. But yeah, I really do see that with Balancing Act, you know, again, we're pointing back to the importance of, you know, things appearing to be equal and, you know, giving as much as we're taking, and, you know, all of that good stuff that we've already talked about. So I think it's beautiful that that came out again, and really pointing to the fact that, of course, our partner is most likely a Libra. And then let me go ahead, and I want to pull the book on the Gentle Gardener. To me, I want to see if it says anything particular about love. I don't know if this one does or not, like if it gets into that particularly, but I do want to look and see what it has to say. Let's see. The Gentle Gardener is visiting you at this moment in your life to remind you that your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs create the reality you experience. She is the embodiment of the energy within you that is sent out into the field of co-creation and ensures that all that you are is reflected in the world of form. Are you aware of your thoughts? What is their quality? Believe in limitless possibilities and you will see miracles unfold. The Gentle Gardener guarantees the integrity of everything you send out into the world. Stay positive and expect a wondrous return. Your garden is abundant with beauty. Okay, I really think that that last piece there is what Spirit was getting at for us. Your garden is abundant with beauty. I think that, you know, we bring, oh, hit my mic there. I think that what we bring into a relationship and what other people bring as well is very important for that to flourish and be abundant, and for it to be a rich, like, beautiful relationship that serves both people and allows both people to feel valued and loved and comfortable and safe within that environment, right? And I really do think that, you know, this is coming out because it's pointing to how beautiful and abundant and rich your lives will be together, the things that you will create, the happiness that you will bring one another, and maybe even the happiness that you'll bring children and grandchildren and other people that get to know you as a couple, and see you guys together. I think that you may even have a relationship that people look at and aspire to have because you do care so deeply for one another, but you also make sure that the other person is okay. You make sure to talk about your problems and work them out. And you don't ever expect that you're not going to argue or have fights, but when you do, you take the other person and their viewpoint and their perspective into account, and we're not just thinking about ourselves and our own experience, right? Our emotions and the things that happen with us are obviously very, very important as well, but we also do like love and care about our partner, and we make sure to like validate them as well and apologize when we're in the wrong, when it comes to these arguments and disagreements. So anyway, I love this for you guys. I think that this is a really beautiful reading. And if you're already married, I hope that this resonated for you and this is what your partner is like. If not, I think that you have a lot of beauty to look forward to in a relationship, and I think that this was Spirit's way of reminding you not to settle, because the right person will come along and will allow you to have all of these beautiful things, and they will be this person that fulfills you and allows you to feel like seen and heard and appreciated like you deserve to be. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave your reading here. Thank you so much for joining me. If this resonated for you, please leave me a comment down below letting me know. Give this video a thumbs up so that this message can reach as many other people as possible that may need to hear it. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I put out new pick a card readings or sometimes tarot collective readings once a week. I love you guys so much. I'm hoping all of the best for you in your love endeavors in the future, and I hope to see you in future readings. Thank you. Bye. Hi there, my group number 2s. As a reminder, if you chose the Black Onyx Heart, then this is your reading this week in regard to who it is that you will marry. And I also wanted to say before we get started, this is a different day if you can't tell from the introduction video. I'm really just so happy that the sun is out and shining, and it's warm, because it feels like it's been forever since it's been warm here in Colorado. So I'm sorry if the lines and everything are bothering you with the sun beaming in, but honestly it feels so nice to be able to sit here in the sun. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. You may recognize these 2 cards here. They were a part of the pile selection, so they were the cards underneath the Onyx Heart here. So we'll get into that, as well as your tarot cards here, and then I have 2 additional oracle decks that we'll get into as well, to get a better idea and description of who it is that you will be marrying. So looking at your tarot cards here, we have the Knight of Wands, the Star, the Nine of Wands, the Six of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. So when I saw Aries and the stone come up here, I don't know why, maybe it was just the stone coming out, but I felt like your person that you're gonna marry is very much so Aladdin, the diamond in the rough. That's what I kept hearing. That's something that kept on coming through, and I feel and that doesn't mean they have to be Aladdin personality wise from the Disney movie, but that phrase kept on coming to my mind. And I think it became even more clear what was meant by that with laying out the tarot cards here. So I feel like the person that you guys are going to marry, group number 2, is just very, I don't even know if there's just one single word to describe them, because with the Aries coming out here, it makes me think of somebody that is very headstrong, somebody that is determined, that is just full of passionate, fiery energy. And I do want to say, with Aries coming out here, this doesn't mean that this individual is an Aries sun. They could have various Aries placements, a lot of placements in the first house, or they could have like an Aries stellium. When it comes to the rest of like their planets, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be an Aries sun, but I just get obviously like Aries energy also from the cards. So starting off here with the Knight of Wands, I'm seeing this person as somebody that is very like fearless, somebody that maybe can be a little bit impulsive but isn't scared to go after things that are like bigger or larger or more grandeur than them, or like things that, you know, other people would shy away from or like turn their back to. It's like this person that you're going to marry isn't afraid to tackle those things and go after them, and isn't afraid to literally like fight the dragon. They're not afraid of that. They will stand their ground, and even if it seems like illogical to somebody else that is like watching them from the outside, they're just like so confident and they just believe in themselves and like what they're capable of. And so I'm getting more that it's not necessarily that they're super impulsive and risky. It's just that like no one's gonna tell them that they can't do something. They're gonna go after and try, and they're just that type of person that goes after something head first, and they don't necessarily like think every little detail through or every little like possible outcome through. They're just gonna go for it because they know that they're strong, they know they're tough, they know they're resilient, and they know that they'll come out on top. With the star coming out here, I'm seeing this, you know, as being like, I see your person as being very optimistic, and you know that may also kind of play into why they just kind of tackle things and go after like what it is that they want. But that's just so Aries, to be like very optimistic about like what will come to you, and just like going after whatever it is that you want, whether it be like a person, a thing, a job, you know, a certain like goal or whatever. Like Aries is gonna tackle it head on, and do it without fear of failure. And again, I think that like this person is just very optimistic about life and optimistic about like what will happen for them. I think that they ultimately kind of just believe that if they put their all into something, if they go after something with like all of their passion and vigor and like determination, that things are going to work out for them. And I think that truthfully, like throughout their life, this has probably been the case. They've probably gone after a lot of different things and come out successful because they're just so resilient and they're so determined. And it's giving very much so obvious like Mars energy, which Aries is like the warrior, right? Aries goes into battle and always expects that they're going to win, because they are, if anything, probably one of the most stubborn and determined signs that you'll ever come across. And I feel like that's the same for like Aries people. Is you can tell in Aries that they're not going to be able to do something, but until they do it and they fail a million times and until they're ready to give up, that's when they would concede, oh, you're right, I couldn't do that. But very rarely does that happen with an Aries, because they're the type of people that they get knocked down, they get right back up, and they'll keep going, they'll keep fighting, they'll keep giving it their all until they have to tap out. Or until they win, which I feel like a lot of the time they win when they have this kind of energy. The Nine of Wands coming out here, I feel like, again, is pointing to this resiliency. It's really like showing that this person often has their back against the wall, literally, and they're not going to concede and give up and forfeit just because things look bleak, right? They're going to keep going, keep pushing, until literally it's like a knife is to their throat and they're like, all right, fine, like you win at this time. But again, Aries is the warrior. Aries is very, very strategic. I don't think Aries gets the credit for how strategic they really are, because I feel like that's where, like, you know, Mars is such a misunderstood planet, because it's not all anger and aggression. There is this level of planning and being patient and waiting for the right moment. So Aries may give up momentarily, but that doesn't mean that they're going to like give up entirely and not wait for that moment to like edge themselves back in, right? And so I think, again, we're pointing to this like resiliency of this person that you're going to end up marrying. With the Six of Swords coming up, I'm actually seeing this more as, you know, somebody that enjoys adventure and moving on from place to place. Like, excuse me, I feel like this is somebody that isn't afraid to start over if they need to. This is somebody that loves to seek out new adventure and new places and new people. And I really see this as like somebody that would be a really great like travel companion, because again, like your person that you're going to marry is just like very adventurous and spontaneous and likes to do things like at the drop of a hat. And I can see them being somebody that would like plan a trip and not tell you and then surprise you with tickets, or you know, things just kind of falling into their lap where they're like, oh, you know, I have this opportunity to travel like to another state or country for like X amount of days. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and take it. You should come with me. We can do all these different things. Like, they're just very much so like, they don't have to have a perfect plan. They don't have to have everything mapped out, but they want to go and experience like everything that life has to offer, essentially. And I really do see them as somebody that, you know, is up for adventure and up to travel and up to like move away from places also that no longer serve them. They're not the type of person that's going to stay like in the same home, apartment complex, state, city forever if they're no longer having fun, right? If it's not interesting to them anymore, if, you know, even like if rent went up exponentially or something, I see them as being somebody that's like, all right, let's leave, let's find somewhere else to be and go and explore. And yeah, I just see them as somebody too that they're that type of person that, you know, you call up when you're going to be going to a new city or a new country or something, because they have all the best recommendations, because they've been to all these different places, and they've seen all of these different beautiful places that a lot of people want to go to and travel to. And so they just have like a lot of experience, I feel like, when it comes to traveling and like really getting involved and invested in like other cultures and other places, and they just really enjoy that, I feel like. So they would be like a really, really good adventure buddy for you. And then with the Queen of Wands coming up, I really feel like, again, this points to this person's I don't know why that was bothering me. It felt like it was upside down. Anyway, this really points to this person's confidence in my eyes. Because again, I feel like your future spouse, your future husband or wife, is just like very, very confident, very assured of who they are. And they're definitely, again, going to always kind of rely on that self-confidence, because irregardless of how things turn out, they always have this belief that things will work out for them, that, you know, good things happen for them, and that they're going to be victorious as long as they put in the effort and the time into accomplishing something. I feel like also because the Queen of Wands is always depicted with like animals around her, that your husband or wife may be somebody that is very inclined to animals. They may be somebody that like has a lot of animals that they bring with them into their relationship, or you guys end up getting a lot of animals together. Like, this is the type of person I feel like could like live on a farm and have like cows and chickens and goats and a bunch of cats and dogs just like running around, because they just really truly enjoy animals. Now, this may not be the case for everybody, obviously, but it's just kind of something that's coming across with this being the Queen of Wands. And, you know, it just kind of reminds me too of those people, and my husband is one of those people that like love to go to the zoo. Wherever we go, whenever we go to a new city, like we always end up going to the zoo, because my husband just loves to go and see the animals. And yeah, it just like makes him very happy. He likes to be connected with the animals. So perhaps that'll be the case for your husband or wife as well, that they'll just be really connected with animals and they'll love to be around animals, and they'll probably be like the person that wants to adopt all and save all the animals if possible. But I also see them as like being your hype man or hype woman. Like, they're always going to be there to build you up, to like raise your confidence, to support you, to tell you that, you know, you're capable of doing anything, because they really truly will believe that. They will believe that you're capable of doing anything because they believe they're capable of doing anything, right? They believe they're capable of accomplishing and doing absolutely anything. And they will also believe that in you, and they will instill that in you. And I think it'll be really good for like your self-confidence, your self-worth. And yeah, they'll just always be there to build you up. You'll have an idea, you'll bring it to them, they'll be like, that's a great idea, you should do that, go after that, absolutely. What do you need from me? How can I support you? And I think that that honestly will be such a beautiful relationship, because you'll never feel like your partner doesn't believe in you, that they don't support you, that they're not there for you, because your husband or wife will always be that for you. They will always be in your corner. They will always be there to believe in and support you and provide you with anything that you need, like any assistance that you need from them. And like I said, I feel like it'll just be really good for your self-confidence. Seeing this kind of person that is so determined, so resilient, just so forceful, like in the best way. I don't mean that as an insult, but like, I don't know, this kind of energy, at least for me, just always gets me like super excited and pumped. And it's just kind of that energy of like pumping you up and, you know, allowing you to see that sometimes life doesn't have to be all that serious. We can have fun. We can like try new things. We can go after different things. And if they don't work out, that's okay. We can try again, you know. That doesn't mean that we're bad at everything, or that, you know, we're not talented, we're not gifted. It just means that sometimes we have to work at things, and that's okay. But yeah, I think that this will just be like really a very beautiful like relationship, and like just a very good energy and vibe for you to have around. Because I feel like, especially if you're someone who is a little bit more rigid, you know, needs to have every little thing planned out, it's good to have some of that balance, right? And not be so heavily focused on everything needing to like work out a certain way, and to just allow yourself to be in the moment, enjoy things, and to allow yourself to go after what you want without thinking about it like over and over and over again, to where you think about it to death, right? That's the one thing again about Aries, is I think people like to say Aries is overly impulsive, and don't get me wrong, they can be, but they also just are like, what am I gonna sit around here for? I'm just gonna go after it. Like, what am I sitting around for? What am I doing this and that for? Like, I'll never know unless I try. And I feel like that's kind of the motto that your husband or wife will live by. But yeah, I love this energy. I like put this out and I just started smiling because I think that it's a fun energy. And obviously every energy has its challenges even, but I don't know, like I love seeing somebody that's like adventurous, resilient, very optimistic, confident, and, you know, allows other people to see and build that in themselves. And I think that's what your partner will ultimately do for you. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna take a drink of water actually here real quick. Not water, I have like a tea thing. I'm gonna take a drink of that real quick, and then we'll get into your oracle decks here as well. Okay. All right, you guys. Let's see here. We get any more information about group 2's future husband or wife. I don't know, it's probably because I'm a Scorpio, but I really do love Aries energy. I think I've also just like grown to love and appreciate every sign in the zodiac for different reasons. But Aries energy is fun to me, and a little chaotic, a little wild, but it's fun energy. And literally, I think Aries people are so cool, and they have the ability, I feel like, to accomplish so much in life. And they really are like the diamond in the rough, right? They can come like in such a deep, dark, terrible time. They can come in and just like show you how beautiful life can be. And I think that that is what your husband or wife is going to give to you guys. My group number 2's is, you know, that vigor again, that joyfulness for life, that passion to live and live the way that you want to, not worrying about the way anybody else does anything, because, you know, Aries is the start of the zodiac. They're the ones that push the narrative forward, and Aries people don't care about convention. They don't care about, you know, what they're supposed to do. They care about doing what feels good to them and being authentic. And I think that that will be really, really good for you guys, my group number 2s. Okay, I'm just going to do one more big shuffle here, and then we'll go ahead and cut and see what we can get. Any more information about the person you will marry. Okay. All right, here. Passion. Oh my God, love it. Like, literally, that's so funny because group number 1 got the same card. I swear to you, I shuffled these cards. You saw me shuffling them. And then we have confidence. I love that both of these came out. Again, I think they're pretty self-explanatory here. I think you'll have like a very passion-filled relationship. You'll feel very connected to this person. And it's easy to do that when they like allow you to feel very like alive again and passionate towards life and like the things that you want to go after, and they give you that confidence boost that sometimes we need, right? Sometimes, you know, not all of us are taught to believe in ourselves and be the most confident, and it helps when we have somebody there that reminds us, no, like, you're capable of doing anything that you want to, just go after it. Like, that feels good, honestly. It's something I was literally talking with my husband about yesterday. Is one of my biggest problems with people sometimes is they want to project all of their own insecurities and their own issues onto everybody else, when all you have to do sometimes is just be supportive. You know, maybe that person doesn't have like a full plan in place yet, and they don't know, you know, exactly what they're going to do, but that's okay. Like, it's also okay to just be like, that's a really cool idea. I think that that would be really awesome for you to try that. Like, I'm interested to learn more once you get started and for you to tell me about that. But that's really cool. Like, I would have never thought about that. It's literally that simple. You don't have to put all of your shit onto everybody else all the time, right? And I feel like your husband or wife is going to be so good at that for you. They're going to allow you to feel confident just like they do, and they're never going to knock you down or make you feel less than or project their own bullshit onto you. They're just going to support you. Sometimes that's all people need. It's one thing if somebody comes to you for advice about business or about, you know, their life or whatever, but sometimes people literally just need to be supported. They just need to know that they have someone in their corner. And obviously there are caveats to this, and, you know, you're not going to support your friend who's in a verbally and physically abusive relationship, but you know what I'm getting at here when it comes to like you presenting an idea, being really excited about this, and then somebody shits all over it. And it's like, all you had to do was say, that's really cool. I think that that'd be a really awesome idea. I'm excited for you to like go after that and then like tell me about it, because I'd love to learn more once you get started. Like, it's really not that hard. End of rant. But anyway, I feel like, again, this person is just so passionate, so fiery, so full of like life and energy, and just like their determination and their vigor. It's like very sexy too. Like, I feel like it really is something that you're like super turned on by, and it just keeps the passion in your relationship alive. And again, like with confidence coming out, I feel like it's both ways, right? I feel like this person will help you with your self-confidence, and you will in turn help them, because it'll be like this beautiful cycle that you get into of just like building each other up and making each other feel good, and, you know, being there for each other, because sometimes that's all people need, is just for somebody to support them, be there, and be like, that sounds great, you know? We don't need to shit on everybody's ideas all the time. So yeah, let me get into this last deck here. Yeah, I just feel like with this person, there will be like a lot of passion and chemistry between the two of you. And I think that ultimately, like, their spontaneity, the little chaos that they bring into your life, and like their, I don't know, somewhat impulsiveness that may happen every once in a while, and they're just like, them always being down for an adventure, it just like really reinvigorates and reignites that passion for you guys, like over and over again. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay. So let's see with the last oracle deck here if we can get any other information about who it is you guys will be marrying, my group number 2s. That one kind of tipped over here. Mountain. Okay. I kind of want to read that one because I'm not as familiar with that one from the book. I mean from this deck. So I'm going to look into that one a little bit once we get this other card out. I'd like maybe one more card for you guys. Oops. Okay. Got all flipped up there. Okay. One more shuffle and then we'll cut. And then we have coming apart. Okay. Okay. So, I feel like for coming apart, actually, that this is Spirit's way of saying that this person, like your spouse, will allow you to kind of look at yourself from a different perspective and look at life from a different perspective than maybe you've been living for a long time. It's kind of like what I mentioned earlier where, you know, if you're somebody that needs like more of a schedule, needs things to be more rigid, it's like this person coming into your life kind of unravels that and allows you to see that, you know, while it's great to plan, it's great to have like a plan in place, that it's not always necessary, and it's okay sometimes to just live spontaneously and in the moment and to enjoy yourself and not worry so much about every little outcome. And I think this will be really good for you. And I think that in turn, you know, if you are somebody that plans and, you know, likes to have a schedule for things, likes for things to kind of be in their place and you know what's coming next, which we don't always know, but you kind of get what I mean. That this will also kind of rub off on your husband or wife, right? They'll become a little bit more strategic in like their attack toward things, right? And again, they'll be able to sit there and say, you know, maybe this isn't the perfect time to do this, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna keep my eye out and I'm gonna attack it again here in like a month or so. This just like wasn't good timing. And I think that'll be like really good for both of you. It'll allow this like balance in your relationship. And yeah, I think that you both will kind of awaken and bring about these parts in each other that maybe like weren't there or maybe have been suppressed for a really long time. But you'll be able to really like see that in the other person and kind of like encapsulate some of those qualities that they have as well. And it'll like, you know, bring you guys closer together and also allow you to like grow, right? Because that's what coming apart really is to me, is it's like us coming apart from this old person, this old version of who we were, right? And incorporating these newer things that like we want to bring more into our life. And then let me look at Mountain here real quick. I'm just curious as to what this is. I don't think I've ever seen this card come out for me, so I'm just kind of curious. Let's see. Mountain. You have the capacity to flow around any obstacle. This is the time to adapt. Sometimes you'll come across what appears to be an insurmountable obstacle, like a huge mountain that separates you from your success. You might think that climbing it or chiseling away at it is the answer, but why take such a treacherous, tedious approach? Be like the rivers that flow around mountains naturally. You'll move past this obstacle relatively quickly if you choose the easy way around. This is the time to adapt to your circumstances. If you do decide to climb, remember to take one step at a time, opting for the next right action. So again, I think that this is beautiful because I think the mountain coming out here is, again, pointing to you, like being in this relationship, being with this person and realizing like, Wow, I've been like doing things a lot more difficultly than I need to. It's okay to take things one step at a time. It's okay to enjoy the journey and the process of getting there, right? We don't have to worry about chiseling away at the mountain right away. We don't have to worry about getting through our obstacles right away. It's okay to be a little bit more strategic and determined. And, you know, that's what it really is about, right? It's about consistency, it's about effort. And so, you know, if we're taking those steps still every day to get over this mountain, or, you know, if we're walking around or flowing around it like the river, whatever, like we're still making progress. We're still getting where we need to go. So I think this is kind of a reminder, and this relationship will be for you as well, to like not be so damn hard on yourself and to give yourself a break, to know that it's okay to take your time with things, and that good things always do take time, right? We can't just like will into existence, you know, a completely different life tomorrow. We have to take baby steps towards getting there. So I really loved this reading for you guys. This one was really, really fun for me. I hope that this resonated for you. If it did, please leave me a comment down below letting me know that it did. I know some of you may be watching this and may already be married, and if you are, please leave me a comment down below too and let me know if this describes your husband or wife, or if your husband or wife has like prominent Aries placements. I'd be interested to know. And then if this did resonate for you, if you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up so that it can reach as many other people as possible that may need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I put out new pick a card readings or sometimes tarot collective readings once a week. I love you guys so much. This was really fun. And if you haven't met this person yet, I'm so excited for you when you do, because I think they'll just bring a lot of joy and light and passion back into your life. So anyway, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in a future reading. Bye. Hi there, group number 3. This is my second time trying to film your guys' video. If you can't tell, this is being filmed on a different day than the introduction and group number 1's video. So I'm filming yours and group 2's on the same day. I just like tried to get my Frenchie to move to the bed, because he was snoring really loudly, but he decided to leave the room instead, so I guess I made him mad. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into your guys' reading. As a reminder, if you chose the Sodalite Heart, then this is your reading this week in regard to who it is that you will marry. So these two cards here, the Mask and Neptune Sacrifice, were part of your pile, like group selectors. And then we have your tarot cards laid out here as well. So you guys got the Queen of Swords, the Magician, the Hermit, the Ten of Cups, and the Sun. And then I do have 2 additional oracle decks that we will shuffle for additional cards and messages after we've gone through this stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully it's not too noisy for your guys' reading. And if it gets to be noisy, I will like pause and come back. But anyway, so looking at like this spread here, I feel like your guys' future husband or wife has had to like put on a mask and be somebody for a lot of different people. And I just feel like they've always kind of been expected to change things about themselves, or to alter themselves, or even to neglect themselves in some circumstances to make others happy. And I think it's like a true disservice to them, because I think that they're just so compassionate and caring and loving that they do it anyway, even though they know that that's not who they really are, or they know that they are sacrificing something of themselves to do that for other people. And I think that's just always kind of how they've lived, to be honest with you. I think they've always been expected to sacrifice. Like, I'm seeing that they may even be like the older sibling of a bunch of younger siblings, and maybe they had to sacrifice a lot of themselves and their time and their childhood to help raise younger siblings. And yeah, I think that it's just very unfortunate because I think that they're so kind and giving that they were just unfortunately taken advantage of by a lot of different people. With Neptune coming out here too, Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. And so Neptune could be very like influential in their chart. They could be a Pisces rising, although I typically like to use like the older rulers when talking about like a chart ruler. So for a Pisces rising, I would consider Jupiter to be their ruler as opposed to Neptune, because it's, you know, that's more new modern astrology and not what's always been practiced. But Neptune does technically rule Pisces. And Pisces can be very sacrificing of themselves, as we have to remember they sit opposite of Virgo on the zodiac wheel, and Virgo is very much so about service to others, and Pisces can fall into that same category, but being like overly sacrificing of themselves for other people's benefit. So I feel like, you know, this person could have prominent Pisces placements. They could be a Pisces rising sun or moon, or they could have a Pisces stellium, or they could have, you know, planets in other water signs as well. But again, you know, this doesn't have to necessarily be the case for them astrologically. This could just kind of be the pattern that they fell into because it was always expected of them to do that and to sacrifice for others. And yeah, I think that unfortunately they just haven't always been able to be themselves and put on a mask that feels good to them to wear, right, for the world, as opposed to like being all these different people and characters that they don't actually align with for other people. With the Queen of Swords coming out here, I feel like perhaps your husband or wife had difficulty, and maybe even still has difficulty, setting boundaries with other people. I feel like they will get better with this over time, and they will learn to speak up for themselves and use their voice, but they just have a hard time saying no. They have a hard time letting people down is what I'm hearing. And I think that it has come at a very big sacrifice of themselves, unfortunately, because they've almost kind of lost pieces of who they are in helping other people. I think that they'll probably go through this period where they isolate themselves more, and they may even, you know, once they get to be a certain age, it's so funny when I talk to people, it's always like 30, which is around the age of the Saturn return, where people start kind of realizing that they need to like be more firm and set boundaries with others, tell people no and that it's okay to do so. And sometimes it's better to spend more time alone with ourselves than to spend time with people that drain our energy and that, you know, have all these expectations of us, but they don't hold themselves to the same standard or caliber that they hold other people to, if that makes sense. And so I think that this will ultimately be very good for your future husband or wife to have this time where they just spend more time with themselves and spend time with people that actually like fill their cup, as opposed to like taking and draining them. Because I feel like ultimately your person here may be very creative with the Magician coming out here. They may like to, you know, spend time also like creating, and that allows them to spend time like connecting with themselves and kind of working through issues, especially if they spend time like drawing, painting, doing anything with their hands, like if they do like what is that called, the clay, like why can't I think of it, it's like in ceramics, the wheel throwing, that's what it's called. Like, I don't know, I couldn't think of that. They do something like that, or, you know, whatever it is, I feel like they may have like a very artistic side to them. And so drawing and doodling, sketching, you know, doing those kind of things allows them to just like be with themselves, be with their thoughts, and kind of work through some of the things that are happening for them. And so, yeah, I just see them as being very, very much so being like a creative type that likes to spend time alone and gets to that point because they feel so drained by other people. And then enter you, my group number 3s. And I feel like for the first time, your husband or wife will feel comfortable actually being themselves, taking away those masks that don't actually align with them, don't serve them, and they're able to actually like show you who they really are and what they really want. And they feel like safe in this relationship to not just like overly give of themselves, but to receive as well, because they know that with you, you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart and because you love and care for them, not because you expect something from them in return. Because I think that's ultimately here, like what I'm seeing with your significant other is that they have always been expected to return a favor, right? They've never just been given anything for the sake of being given it, out of like the goodness of someone's heart. People have very much so taken advantage of your husband or wife in the past, and you know, when anything good is given to them or done for them, it's like they're expected to return it tenfold to that person. And you're not like that with them. They feel very safe and secure with you, my group number threes. I see you guys with the 10 of Cups here really creating a beautiful like family dynamic, even if like there aren't children involved and it's just like pets. This, to me, the 10 of Cups is very much so that feeling of like warmth and family and connection, being surrounded by people that love you and value you, and just like living in the moment with these people, appreciating their company, their time, and like just being able to be with them is good enough. You don't have to be out doing like all of these extravagant things all the time. Just being able to be with this person is significant enough and is good enough and allows you to like recharge and allows you to feel replenished and renewed just by being in the company of these people that you're with. So yeah, I feel like when you come in, my group number threes, it's like their whole life, their whole world changes, and they see that, you know, they should be setting boundaries with people. They should be being firm with people, telling people no, because not everyone is worthy and deserving of our time, right? And our energy, especially when they don't give anything back to us ever, and all they do is take from us. And I think that you guys will be such a big lesson for your future husband or wife, and they'll learn a lot from you, just based off of how much you love and care for them and the things that you do for them out of the goodness of your own heart, and because you love them and not because you expect things from them in return. And then with the sun coming out here as well, I feel like this will ultimately, like, this just reflects to me like the beauty, the warmth that will be your relationship and the way that you guys connect with one another. And the sun can also represent like the inner child, and so you guys being the way that you are with one another, but especially you being the way that you are with your husband or wife, is really going to help heal their inner child, I feel like, because again, I think from a very young age, they've been expected to sacrifice themselves for other people and to be everything for everyone and not be that for themselves. And being with you and like having this life and this family with you will help them see that, you know, that part of them is valuable. Their childhood is valuable, and they may need to like, you know, do things more to satisfy their inner child because they've just always been self-sacrificing. And I really see that they probably are like an older soul, that they matured maybe a lot more quickly than other people. And now, is that on like us being an old soul, or is that on like being parentified? You know, I think that a lot of it was probably them being parentified from a young age, because they had this like maturity and sensibility to them that adults took advantage of and parentified your husband or wife early on. And so by them having this relationship with you where they can connect with you, be vulnerable with you, feel like loved and appreciated and valued by you, it's really going to help heal their inner child who may have not even gotten that childhood and gotten to be a kid, gotten to be reckless, gotten to have fun, gotten to literally like dance underneath the sun because they were always taking care of other people and helping other people out. So I think that honestly, you guys, like, this is going to be a very beautiful relationship for you guys, as long as you remember, like, to not take them for granted and to really love and appreciate them for all that they have to offer, because I think that they're going to be very giving unto you, and it's just going to be important for you to remember to also give back and not just take from them as everyone else has always done. Let me take a drink here, and then we'll get into your oracle cards. I also see them as being like a very involved parent. If you guys do have children, like, they're very involved. They very much so want their kids to have a better childhood than they did. And they like will do what they can to make sure that their kids feel loved and protected, and they really, really will care about, you know, their kids having all of these like cool experiences as kids, because again, they had to grow up so quickly and were parentified so early on that they didn't get that. And I think that, you know, it'll just make them so much of a better parent if you guys do choose to have children, because they know exactly like what they would have liked their childhood to be like, and they're going to do their best to make sure that their kids never feel like they have to sacrifice themselves or they have to take care of their siblings or whatever, because like your husband or wife will be like, no, I'm the parent, like that's my job. Your job is to be the child. And I think that they'll also have like a very bright inner child, like once they start to open up and warm up, and their inner child will just like glow and beam at the way that they treat your children, the way that they are there for your children, and don't make your children feel like they have to be adults before it's time for them to be adults, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's see here. Any additional information about group number 3's future husband or wife? Do one more big shuffle, then I'll just go ahead and cut. This one kind of got stuck here, so we'll flip her. Organization, purpose, planning, efficiency, now come to me so easily. And then prosperity. Ooh, I love that. As this tree grows so strong, so fine, so may I prosper from the universal divine. So let's look at prosperity first. I think that that's very fitting, especially with the 10 of Cups coming up here, because the 10 of Cups can talk about like us having a very abundant life, and you know, I think that this is prosperity in terms of like you feeling emotionally safe and loved and valued in your partnership, but also like you guys could end up being like very abundant in terms of like your physical valuables that you have as well. So you guys could have very good jobs, a nice home, a good income, be able to travel and explore, and you know, have more of that leisurely time that maybe neither of you had previously or like growing up. I think that you guys will be very comfortable, because I think that you guys will be able to have like such a good strong foundation of a relationship, that you'll be able to be there for one another and support one another and make sure that your kids and your home are supported as well. And I think that's something that will be very important also to your husband or wife, my group number 3s, is the stability that maybe they didn't have growing up. Maybe that's why they were parentified so early and they had to help take care of brothers and sisters, because maybe their parents worked a lot. Maybe they, you know, couldn't afford daycare or a babysitter, and so unfortunately your husband or wife was daycare and the babysitter because it was free. So again, you know, I think that they'll want to make sure that they're giving to their kids what they didn't have, and I think that they're going to work really hard to make sure that their kids have a better childhood than they did. And again, this is like all perspective if you guys choose to have children, but irregardless, like your husband or wife is going to want to make sure that they are better off financially and more stable than what they grew up with in childhood. Organization coming out here I think is interesting. I think that this may point to like maybe your husband or wife really enjoys, for instance, like maybe they enjoy being able to like organize things, make sure that things like have their designated place or space. But also, you know, I think organization can really just talk about, I'm like trying to find the best words for it, and I just keep kind of struggling here. But essentially, I think that maybe this could be what they do in like their meditative, like alone time, even. Like, what's kind of coming through for me is I'm somebody that enjoys like cleaning. It wasn't always something that I enjoyed doing, trust me, but it helps us, I feel like, when we're in this space of like wanting to heal or wanting to have our mind be less cluttered, because I feel like for your husband or wife, you know, they may have had these periods of time where they felt very overwhelmed and they felt like they had a lot going on mentally. And unfortunately, like our space can kind of impact that as well. Like when we're mentally disorganized, our space tends to be even more disorganized. And then when our space is disorganized, it really disorganizes our thoughts and our brain. And so they really do have this correlating effect on one another. And so for your husband or wife, you know, it may be very important that things are organized, that they're clean, that they're tidy, because that allows them to like be in a better headspace, especially if they grew up in an environment where that wasn't always a priority. And now it's something that they're able to control within their own environment. That may be something that is very beneficial for them. And, you know, for me anyway, it's very much so like a grounding practice, the cleaning is. It allows me to ground back into my body and to like be present, and like sometimes I won't even like play anything in the background and just allow my mind to kind of work through different things that have been going on. And that may be the same thing for your husband or wife. Like that may be something that's important to them, that time alone to like clean or tidy up, and just kind of like be with their own thoughts essentially. So not all of them may be super artistic. They could still be very artistic and do that. But I think that this is coming out as like an indication that obviously there are many different ways for us to have that like hermit alone time where we meditate and connect with ourselves, and really allow our brain to like work through different scenarios and possibilities that may, you know, be something that we've been thinking about. So let's take a look here at our final oracle deck. And see if we get any final information about who it is that you guys are marrying here, my group number 3s. Okay, Stormfields, interesting. And then what else do we have here? I kind of want to look at this one. I've been getting all these cards today. This has happened in every single reading so far. Cards that like I'm just not as familiar with this deck, which is a good thing. I like to be able to see new cards coming out, but I would like to kind of see what is being said about this card to better interpret it. Okay, let's see if we can get one more here. Okay, oh, we got a couple, looks like. So we got Strength, and we also have Follow the Leader. Okay. So for Strength coming out here, I really feel like, you guys, this has to do with vulnerability and being open with your partner, and your partner being able to be open and trusting of you. And I think that you guys will have a very like strong foundation in your relationship when you're able to like cultivate this kind of understanding with one another, and being there and supporting the other person and what they need. But ultimately, you know, like I had mentioned, I don't think that your partner has always been able to freely and openly be themselves. And by being with you and even meeting you and just like seeing that there are people out there that like would love and appreciate them, it's going to allow them to be stronger and more vulnerable, more open with like who they are and what their desires are, and like the boundaries that they need to set, and being able to tell people no, it's going to give them the strength to do that. I feel like that's why this is coming out here for us. And then follow the leader. I'm not as familiar with either. I kind of want to look at both of these. You know, I kind of like, if you haven't noticed, I'll kind of like get into these patterns where I'm like using all of these decks a lot, like some of these decks like a lot more than others, and I haven't used this deck in a while, and I feel like I'm just like, I want to look at the actual descriptions here to make sure that I'm not missing anything for you guys. So Stormfields, this too shall pass. An uncomfortable chaos is surrounding you. Things that you've left unattended may be the cause of some conflict. Pent-up energy needs release, just as a storm in nature must break, for these events occur when the electricity between opposing forces stirs things up and creates temporary disorder. Not all storms are destructive, rather, they serve nature by bringing rain to the ground and wind to the trees, enabling seeds to be wildly distributed and continuous growth to be ensured. Just remember that whatever is being stirred up inside you or between you and another will benefit you later. The sun will shine again and new growth will be observed. Don't be afraid to shake things up a little. So for me, the way that this card is being represented in this reading has more to do with, I feel like, the shakeup that will occur for your significant other when they meet you. Like, I feel like you're the storm coming in to change things up for them in the best way possible. As this mentioned, like, storms are not always a bad thing. They can breed new life and sunshine and beauty. And I think that that is like what Spirit is getting at here with the Stormfields coming up. I feel like you are the storm in this case. You're the chaos, you're the change that's coming into their life, and it's going to like result in the most beautiful, like, abundant, emotionally satisfying relationship that either of you has had. And so I think that it's gonna be like very beautiful, and it may even come at a time where like maybe it's very chaotic for you, maybe very chaotic for them, and you guys just meet each other off chance if you haven't like met already, and you guys just like completely alter the course of each other's lives. But I feel like especially for your husband or wife, like, you're going to be this like beautiful change that comes in for them that they weren't expecting, that like turns everything upside down and just makes them see themselves and life from this like totally different perspective. And then let me look at the follow the leader card too, because I'm just interested in what that has to say. Every life is a teaching tool for others. Your authenticity and honesty are an example to those around you. Okay. I think that was really all that I needed from that. That's kind of what I was getting, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, sometimes I'm not 100% like confident, and then also I like want to make sure I'm not missing anything for you guys. So with follow the leader coming up, again, this, you are the leader essentially, right? Like, you're the one that leads your life and lives very authentically, very open. You truly love and care for other people. You don't do things for other people expecting them to give you something back in return. And by you living this openly and loving so openly with other people, it's going to inspire other people, especially your spouse, your future spouse, to do the same and be the same, to be able to set boundaries with others and say no, to be able to like work through healing their inner child, to be able to like take off this mask of pretending that they're somebody that they're not for other people around them. It's really going to allow them to be open and be authentic and be themselves, which I feel like is so beautiful, because I think that, again, as I mentioned, it's something that they haven't ever really been able to do, because everyone's always expected them to be something that they're not. And finally with you, they won't have that expectation on them anymore, and they'll actually be able to be open and vulnerable and authentic and be themselves in like the best way possible. And I think that you guys are just gonna have such a beautiful marriage and a beautiful relationship. And I'm so happy and excited for you guys, my group number 3s, because I think that some of the best relationships are those that allow us to become these better transformed versions of ourselves, and for us to take like the best qualities from our partner, and like, you know, work those into our own being in our own life. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave your guys' reading here. I really enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed this entire reading actually this week. It's been really fun. I hope that this resonated for you. If it did, please leave me a comment down below, especially if you're somebody watching this and you're already married. I'd be curious to like see your responses, see if like this aligns at all with the person that you've married, if they have Pisces like dominant placements, whatever. I'm just curious. I think that'd be fun to see. So leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up so that it can reach as many other people as possible that may need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put out new pick a card readings and sometimes tarot collective readings once a week. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. I'm hoping all the best for you. And I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful marriage and a beautiful life with this person. I hope to see you in a future reading. Bye.